Welcome to part 2 of the Black Rose translations. So we're going back now to 1989 when I facilitated a process or informational process, you might say, with a group of people at Coptic Fellowship International gathering of John Davis in San Antonio, Texas. And I'm writing about it here in this issue of, well, it was an issue actually of Temple Doors, I believe, or the source, but I later put it into a volume of the Black Rose translations. And now we come to our ceremony and the questing it contains for each of us. On the table are displayed several pure silica leadless glass wands set with crystals. These pieces are the artistry of Susan Plum, who presently resides in Seattle, Washington. I have no idea where Susan may be now or even if she's still on the planet, but she was an amazing lady, or is an amazing lady. Each of these wands has a special energy function and were created for an individual here today. So in other words, I had several people that were gathered there that all had wands that had been specifically created by her. I had found her, so to speak, she wasn't in San Antonio, but I'd found her. I don't know how, there was no internet in those days, but somehow we started communicating. And I had friends in San Antonio that were working with this energy. So they all commissioned wands from her, as did I. And so we were gathered, all of us together, with our crystalline wands for this process. I wish I had a picture of all of them, and I might have somewhere, but the only one I have is the main one that was done for me. And it's this one. Actually, there are two of them. You can see one lying down there on the left-hand side of the screen, but the one that's being spoken about here, Unicephalus, is the one in the center, which is exquisite. As you can see, it is a cup, it is a grail cup, and a wand. I wish I had these. They were all broken one way or another through the years with all the moves I made. But at the time, there they were, and just absolutely exquisite, especially the one in the center, the Unicephalus. So we're going to read about that now. The wand standing upright that has just been unveiled is the implement of our service today. This instrument of light and beauty, also created by Ms. Plum, was commissioned by Thoth through me. The master alchemist Thoth says of this wand, as a pinnacle of fluted majesty, so the unicorn graces the beast. It is that point of integrity that remains truth long after illusion has decayed with the atom. So this missive of splendor represented in the Unicephalus, it would be Unicepeleus, the wand cup of the unicorn mysteries, is in thy midst as a grail sword of the perpetual sacred spiral with its innermost seat of mystery, the I Am, contained at its zenith axis. The horn is that spiral unfolding to the point of light. The cup is the spiral infolding to the hollow of involution through which the feminine principle quickens life to begin its journey. Together these forms create the host for spirit matter animation in balance and harmony. Here is a picture of me that I believe was at that ceremony, but it is not with the wands. As I said, this was in 1989. Sorry about that. Let's see, something just popped up on the screen. In any case, I'm going to continue here. The ceremony given this day is to be a personal experience in which your sacred seed of light, that engendering kernel of spiritual origin you carry throughout your planetary journeys, is realigned to its logos or doctrine of signature. This signature is the innate potential of your being that is distinctly yours, yet contains within it designs of greater doctrine, linking you to others of your origin field. As all souls migrate from pools of birthing within the deeper sea of being, so you are recognized as both an individual and a tribal element by your doctrine of signature. Yet this is more than mere recognition. It is a sounding, a vibration that stimulates the chord, C-H-O-R-D, of harmony, which attaches you to the great tree of illumined existence. As you partake of Unicephalus, open your mind and heart to the flame of your beginning and receive an equal portion from both your negative and positive currents of life, the masculine and feminine sacred twins contained within each living being. There are three crystals attached to the wand cup. An amethyst sphere graces the point of the horn. The clear crystal is kunzite, and the pink and green is pink tourmaline. Both of these latter are lithium crystals. Lithium is a complex study in itself, given in much detail in issue 488 of the source. In essence, lithium is the element that bonds the etheric to the physical and allows transference between these two realms. Lithium draws light into the biosystem through the spleen, which in turn nourishes the entire physical body, bringing energy into the thymus gland. According to Thoth in issue 488 of the source, kunzite allows the meeting of the heart and mind through a central flaming of the spirit. In other words, it radiates the intelligence of love rather than the impulse of it. Pink tourmaline has been found in only one place on the planet, the Stewart Lithium Mine at Pala Indian Reservation, California. Now, this would be in accordance to 1989. Perhaps it is located in other places since then. Thoth tells us that pink is an Atlantean stone in essence. Quoting from issue 488 of the source, it radiates a centering focus which carries humanity to its twinning with the twin self. By this, it is not meant one's twin ray, as is commonly called, but that part of the inner spirit that is the reflection of the individual's part of the Godhead, the source. The pink tourmaline vibrates within this course of knowing, as it was part of the crystallic consciousness in ether form that brought the twin self into existence as a planetary consciousness. This twin is also seen as a twinning or wrapping of energies, as in the helix of the DNA, which is the basis for the twin self and elementation. The unicorn is the Davic being who resonates with the crystal lithium element of pink tourmaline, for the unihorn is the embodiment of this principle, not only in symbol, but in the very real existence of unicorns within the inner earth and outer, and their ability to sound or send signals of a high-pitched frequency through their horns, attuning and stirring the crystallic grid of the planet. Pink can create a twinning focus for an initiate who desires contact with the twin self in the form of the unicorn, the spirit embodiment of the spirit twin within mankind's universal corded soul. Now, this is really interesting because, we're all seeking our twin ray, and really that's within us. Thoth really doesn't get off on twin ray concept of another being your twin ray. He's not saying that there isn't something to that, but it's not understood properly. There's not just this one twin ray, and when you find that this person, this is it, and this is the love of your life, and you live happily ever after, as many people have found out, it doesn't work that way. So that's a whole other topic, but the true twin is within you. And the merging of those two parts of yourself. That's part of the whole dualistic system that is intended to be. Again, dualism is not a negative thing. We just don't have the hang of it very well. But the idea of that twinning fork, that twinning flame within you is a part of the very essence of your questing, your seeking for unity. These two lithium crystals, the kunzite and the pale-pink tourmaline, come together in the wand cup you see before you as a medium through which the initiate may contact the centering love focus, aligning and responding to his/her sacred twins. Once the individual acknowledges these twin aspects within, he or she begins to resonate between these two poles of expression, allowing a complete synergy of the sword and the grail, the two mysteries of alchemical life. This balance struck, the individual becomes aware of his or her own place in the order of things, for no longer is he or she struggling to maintain a defensive posture amid the push and pull karma of opposites. The initiate is then free to submit to the natural transmutation of death to life and life to spirit, through the vehicle of grace, discarding the long empowered aspect of karma. The artisan Susan Plum underwent her own revelatory initiation in the making of this sensitive wand cup. She approached her assignment from Thoth, not sure of her feelings, yet as she proceeded to work on this piece, the voice of the image crystallized in her heart, and she saw the grand design within. It is symbolically interesting that the final version of the wand cup is the fourth she actually made. The other three met with unusual fates, one inexplicably exploding in the kiln, something that had never before happened to her in all her years of working with glass. Because the creating of this sacred object revealed so much to Susan, she made some notes on specific correlations researched by her, some of which I feel essential that I share with you before your initiation with the wand cup begins. As we continue, just a moment, I'm going to fix something and I'll get right back to you. All right, as we continue, you see here my avatar and another beautiful unicorn. This is Magi. I thought, why just stay to one unicorn here? I'm going to show off my unicorns, because all of them represent the one. So now we're going to go to Susan Plum's notes as you look at beautiful Magi here. Now this is quoting Susan Plum. Now in discussing the Unicornist book, there's the book of Unicornist, further exploration led us to a particular glyph that appeared repeatedly throughout the book. It looked like a Hebrew letter. After scanning through several books on the Kabbalah, we discovered the meaning to be lightning and related to the 22nd path. She's saying we here, so obviously she's working with someone, perhaps her husband, I'm not sure. From the Book of Formation, 10 ineffable Sephiroth. Now this is, I believe, let's see, is quoting from the book? Yes. This is, Susan is quoting from the Book of Formation. 10 ineffable Sephiroth. Their appearance is like that of a flash of lightning. Their goal is infinite. His word is in them when they emanate and when they return. At his bidding, they do haste like a whirlwind. Now, I believe that's the end of the, I'm sorry to stutter so much, but it's very difficult to tell from this text what is Susan speaking? What is the Book of Formation speaking? So I apologize to Susan wherever she is, but I'm doing my best with this. At his bidding, they do haste like a whirlwind. The 10 fundamental aspects of the life power is suggested by the flash of lightning. As soon as the life power manifests itself at all, the sum total of its 10 aspects comes at once into existence. The idea of speech, or the creative word, is bound up with this lightning flash symbol by the phrase, his word is in them. And the idea that the whole cosmic activity is a continuous expression of the word from the beginning to the end is conveyed by the phrase, when they emanate and when they return. So Susan is speaking about this book here. Furthermore, this emanation and return is compared to a whirling breath. This last is particularly interesting since it has been demonstrated by modern science that a lightning flash is really a whirling spiral motion. It will yet be shown that this whirling motion is double, consisting of an outgoing and returning current. Wow, now I have to pause a moment because I want to add something here. Many years later from this, probably around 2005-06 or something like that, I was given the information about the Yeshuda, and that's the Christic whirlwind. And I've mentioned it before, I've read about it before, and I'm not really going to get into it right here because we have so much to cover with this book. But if you go to my Spirit Mythos website and you are able to pull up the personal search engine, the website is so old, some people's computers don't see it. But if you can get the personal website search engine, you can put in YESHUDA, and you will come up with this dynamic that is a natural dynamic of the planet. I say natural, it might have been installed by the hierarchy, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's called the Yeshuda, and it's Yeshuda meaning the whirlwind. And it's a Christic vibration. Well, these are the Christic, we're speaking of the Christic unicorn. So, you know, there's obviously a corollary here, but that I had not received in 1989. That was in 2000 something rather. So, okay, we continue now with Susan. In the 27th path, we have the flash of lightning, referred to as the life power. Once manifesting itself, it creates existence. The creative word is connected to the lightning flash symbol. And lastly, there is the downward motion or descent into the next path of the heart, or the Tippereth. This unfolds for us as the concept of beauty and action as the doorway to the vault. On page 52 of Unicorns, you will see a painting of 7 unicorns around a C-note referring to the Council of 7. On the opposite page is a diagram of the vault. There are 7 points in the diagram and 7 unicorns. The Elohim of the Jews were supposedly 7 in number. They were the spirits of the dawn, more commonly known as the archangels controlling the planets. It is interesting to note that the planet Venus is at the bottom of the diagram, corresponding to the door of the vault. Now, I'm going to pause here because we know, those of us who follow those work here, that Venus is the guardian planet of Earth. And here she's saying it is positioned at the bottom of the diagram, corresponding to the door of the vault. So the entry to the vault, and the vault would be the vault of Osiris, the ascension dynamic, key dynamic within the Great Pyramid. So, you know, there are a lot of corollaries here. Okay, continuing with Susan. Looking closely at this diagram, I found it to be like the one in the Invisible Order of the Rosicrucian, page 126, figure 14. This uncovered even more unexpected avenues. So she apparently is quoting from the book here. Osalam, the firstborn unicorn. No, she's not. I don't know. I'm just going to read it. Osalam, the firstborn unicorn, struck a barren rock and drew forth a gushing spring of life. Yes, she is quoting from page 21 of Unicorns. Then it says, there is a coincidence. Now she's saying there is a coincidence that seems worth mentioning. The stone which Absalom struck and brought forth a gushing spring connects to the description of the discovery of the Rosicrucian memorial table. Brother N found this memorial table, which was cast in bronze. Attached to the table was a nail, which when pulled out took with it a stone, leaving an opening that exposed the hidden door. It was cast in brass. In Hebrew, the translation is metal copper, which is the metal of Venus. Nail refers to the letter Vav, V-A-V, which corresponds to the zodiacal sign of Taurus, ruled by Venus. Well, this is interesting because I didn't know that Taurus was ruled by Venus when Thoth told me many years ago, probably before I wrote this or maybe a little after, probably before, that when Lord Melchizedek came from Venus to Earth to move, he established the 7 heaven houses, and it was in the age of Taurus, or under the signal, the frequency of Taurus. So this certainly aligns to that. So she continues, both the letter Vav and the sign of Taurus are represented by the 5th key of the Tarot, the Hierophant. Well, we can see Lord Melchizedek is definitely being a Hierophant. And the basic meaning of this key is revelation, the revelation of truth through intuition. Intuition is personal recollection of some aspect of truth that the universal mind has never forgotten. So the nail brings with it the stone, which reveals the hidden door. The number on the door of the vault intimates that access to the hidden treasure is a consequence of the ripening of the powers of human consciousness under the guidance of the holy guardian angel. There is such beauty connected to the unicorn. It is possibly this aspect that drew me to it. This is Susan speaking. This age is indeed calling for a beauty that speaks through the heart. The chalice symbolizes beauty, the sword action. Both of these combined open the door to the vault, and therefore to the great recollection. The unicorn is the guide to the great recollection. It is the descent into the heart and the active manifestation into the outer world. The Kabbalah's Sephirothic tree of life is the lightning bolt, and the unicorn is its pulse. And so that ends quotes from Susan, at least for now. So we return to me. I found Susan's information in the vault especially intriguing, for recently I had a vision in which the 7 seals in the form of golden scrolls in a vault beneath the floor were shown to me. I was told that these scrolls were placed there in the first trigram. It was also revealed to me that the unicorn was the harmonic element which activated the holy tone in the first trigram. I am not versed in the I Ching, but was aware that it was composed of hexagrams. I wondered if it might also contain trigrams. In researching this, I found that hexagrams were derived from trigrams. These trigrams were found to describe the evolution of things from the duality of yin-yang. Trinities are meant to represent all cosmic and physical conditions on Earth. The first trigram is creative power. It is the primal directive that propels us into our destinies. I found this definition to be appropriate for the age of the first trigram, when the divine harmonic was set into the crystallic grid of the planet. It was the aeon in which the templaric grids, a vault of divine proportions, were overlaid with the natural ones in anticipation of great living structures to be built, sending and receiving pulses from the source of their directives. To turn once again to the wand cup, it is the primal directive propelling you to your destiny that is activated through this initiation. This is a destiny not of dark, unseen things, but of light and purpose. It, however, is not without effort. Each of you must take this ceremony within your heart and use it, or rather allow it to work through you. Should it be left to languish, it is robbed of its power. To have faith in your own powers of spirit is the greatest gift this mystery ceremony can bestow upon you. Give light a space in your heart, and it will live forever, like the unicorn, who is a vestige of your own eternal soul. Unicephalus, the wand cup, has been sanctified in ritual using dried flowers and herbs from Glastonbury, holy water from Glastonbury, Iona and the Red Sea, oil from Egypt, and special crystals, including those from Egypt, Tibet, and some rare lithium crystals, of which only a few mined specimens exist on the planet. Also used in the sanctification were sacred tablet fragments from Mount Sinai and other relics, including opalized stones from Australia and a stone from Merlin's shamanic cave in England. In fact, my friend and co-worker, Dolores Kemp, who is now Estrella, is at this time in Scotland on the Isle of Man, Merlin's birthplace, where his original crystal cave is located. Dolores /Estrella will be attuning to the unicorn of the sacred grove on Man, sending this energy and light to us here today. Now, unfortunately, the ceremony itself is not written down here. This was something that was spontaneous and we all worked with together. So that ceremony is no more in regard to something I can present to you. However, at the end of this series, I'm going to create a ceremony with those assistants that I can present, as an activational video, which will help you kind of work with this energy, and you can take it off on your own and do it in your own way as well. I believe that I was guided to do this, to bring this work forward. Well, first of all, Kat Miller, one of our Sholar, put a quote from it on our Sholar page, and I was like, whoa, I need to feel this. It was like it just came through my being. And now I realize why. And then I was guided to do this because, and I didn't know it at the time, but because it connects very directly to the Christos Sephora work with the elixir. So we're going to show how that comes about at the very end of this reading of the Black Rose translations. In fact, that might be a whole other series. I'm not sure. We'll see how that works. But you will get an initiation activation with the wand, because of course the wand still exists. It just doesn't exist as a piece of physical glass anymore. And so this concludes part 2 of the Black Rose translations.